Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of the Cosmic Confluence podcast, where we are discussing the intersection of spirituality, personal transformation, astrology, and much more. I'm your host, Sana, and today we are taking a deep dive into the cosmic dimensions of our souls with a truly fascinating guest. Our guest today is Katische Haberfield, a past life regression therapist, medium, ghost rescue medium, author, poet, and student of understanding the soul. Well, she channels the Archangel Zadkiel and has been working closely with Archangels Michael and Zadkiel to help individuals unlock their true potential for happiness. And through her work, she takes people into past lifetimes on earth and in other dimensions to discover profound moments of joy. She believes that these happiest moments are actually key to understanding our soul's purpose and evolution. So, if you have ever wondered how your soul's experiences from other lifetimes, or maybe planets and dimensions, influence your present incarnation, I'm very sure this conversation will definitely give you a lot of insights. So, with that, Ketish, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Sana, for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Lovely, lovely. Um, Kirish, to start with, many people think of reincarnation as something that happens only on Earth, but your work suggests otherwise. So, can you explain how does our soul travel across dimensions, planets, locations, maybe universes?
Mm. So, I guess the biggest thing to understand is that you are both a localized being. So, you are both here right now and you are everywhere all at once. Because here, the way that Earth is set up, we have the construct of time due to gravity and all of the scientific things that you can go in and deeply study. But we have time here, which makes it quite different and difficult for us to grasp that we could be anywhere else at the same time. It's just not the way that we come into the world. Most of the world still has the problem of even believing in reincarnation,
Yep.
the Western world. So we're a little, we're still grappling with that concept in the here and now. But we actually are essentially just pure energy. And energy cannot be destroyed. So it goes on. And we can look at all of the various fields of science, quantum physics, mechanics, string theory, all the different theories that are out there, where scientists have been trying to understand energy and matter and how it exists. Now, I'm not a scientist. I didn't even study science at school, but it's been something that I've been interested in while I've been trying to grapple with, have I existed before? And when it started out for me, Sana, and I started doing my own past lives regressions and visiting the Akashic records, I started to experience the first anomaly in that I could find incarnations
Uh-huh.
where I had multiple lifetimes at the same time. And that sort of brought up the first question for me was, how can I exist on one side of the planet in the same time that I'm on the other side of the planet? So I could have an incarnation in France at the same time as I was incarnated in America, and remember both of those very vividly, including the emotions through the past life regressions. I thought, that's not possible. I thought you just were born, you died, you went up to wherever you call it, heaven or whatever, it's the waiting place. You had to think about your life, and then you came back down, and there should be some logical amount of time in between that represented 9 months at the minimum for a gestation period for a baby, or several years when you went to think about yourself and what you did last time. And so I was like, that's a bit interesting. How can that be? So that sort of opened up a bit of the exploration for me in that I could trace my own reincarnations not to just a logical sequential, I died in 1935 and then I waited to 1975 to come back, but that I could be in multiple places at once. And then um, the next question for me was, okay, so if I could be in multiple places at once here on Earth,
Okay.
and they're saying to me that time is a construct of Earth and the mind. So therefore, they also say, according to the research, that all time is at once. So that means that on Earth,
Uh-huh.
all of my incarnations are happening simultaneously. It's just that um, I am Katische and I was born in 1975. And so I associate with the body that I'm in now. But there's also versions of me in 1875 and 1447 and, 300 BC or whatever it is. So that was
Mhm.
the next thing that I had to grapple with, which was, all incarnations happen at once, right? I can be in multiple places at once. I'm energy. I don't actually really die. It's just that I change, as I call them, costumes. Um, so that opened up the next thing, which was actually fun because it was an experiment for me, Sana. So what happened then was on my podcast, I've stopped doing them now, but I did do a lot of past life regression sessions with clients. And so I said to some clients, I said, what if we see, have you lived before on a place other than Earth? Let's
Mhm.
just do an experiment, okay? I know that it has happened and other people have done it because I've read books by Dolores Cannon and other greats in the world of past life regression, and I know that it's possible, but I've never experienced it myself. So let's see. And so I did a whole season on my podcast, which I called the Star Seeds season, because there was a lot of stuff that I saw at the time on Instagram and YouTube about star seeds. And I thought, let me explore this phenomenon called star seeds and see if we get people go back to lifetimes whereby they match up with what I see on YouTube and Instagram. And so
Okay.
I had some people who came on and we recorded it all live. And so it's on the podcast. You can watch it on video or in audio.
Uh-huh.
And we went back to other lifetimes. All of the people who tried went back to other lifetimes on other planets, and
Mhm.
none of them matched up to the ones that we see on when people do starseed tests. So it was none of the. I think there might have been one at the North Star, but all the others, they all came back with this location does not have a
Mhm.
name that you human beings know at the moment. We're too far away. And so I was like, huh, isn't that fascinating? I've just shown myself through my clients that we do exist in other places. So that's how, for me to answer your question, Sana, is that's how I got started in exploring, do we actually live on other locations other than Earth, and trying to understand that time is a construct here that we have on Earth, and that
Mhm.
we are connected to all of the people and beings and animals and creatures that we have been anywhere. So it's fascinating.
It's really, really fascinating. And there's something called as deja vu. Uh, sometimes I feel like this has happened before, or maybe I have met this person before, but practically speaking, I never met that person. I met that person for the first time, but this kind of that feeling, that little jittery feeling in your stomach, like butterflies and something, or maybe it can be connected to any situation or place or anything. So do you believe these are all like, past life memories in our subconscious mind acting as
Yes.
something?
Yes, absolutely, because that's happened to me a lot. And
Mm.
so I know, for example, I have visited many places before I even knew about reincarnation, to be honest. So in my 20s and late teens, I did a lot of backpacking around the world. And I would go to places and I would be like, oh, there's something with this energy. I think I've been here before. And as I
Mhm.
said, at that time, I came from a family that was brought me up as a Christian. And as we know, there's nothing currently in the current printed versions of the Bible or anything like that that speaks about reincarnation. That was supposedly taken out a long time ago. Um, so I didn't have a background of, in this lifetime and this family, understanding reincarnation. I studied a little bit in school, but it wasn't present and front of mind. So, for
Mm.
example, when I was living in the United Kingdom for a while,
Uh-huh.
and I went to, the Tower of London. And that's a very touristy place, but it's also a very historical place. So there's a lot of energy there. And, a lot of people were tortured there. They were kept hostage there. They were kept safe there. Also, if they were the royals, and they were murdered there. And so I remember going through and going to where the torture room was, the room where they lay people out on the rack and stretch them and broke all their bones. And just when I've done this before, like, that fear comes up. It's
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
irrational fear that comes up that says, "Oh, I feel sick. I know this energy. I've been here." So that's one example. And yes, I did do past lives, and I found that I had been there. And you get drawn to certain places, um, and you do get those deja vu moments, and it's because you have been there before. And mostly, it's not relevant. And the reason that it's relevant and you get that deja vu in terms of places I'm speaking about specifically is
Mhm.
because that lifetime has unhealed components. So perhaps that in that lifetime, you actually still exist there as a ghost. You haven't gone to the light because you were tortured, or because you have guilt, or you did do something horrible. And so you are still in that waiting realm where you are trying to evaluate your life before you go to the other side. And so a lot of the work that I've done for my own self is realize that when I've gone to these places, there's a lot of residual energy. So when there's something traumatic that happens in a place, be it a war or a battle, or, an execution site or whatever, all of the fear, um, and the anger, the hatred, the jealousy, all of the negative emotions that are there,
Mhm.
they stay around unless it's been transmutated
Mhm.
by people who've gone there and sent specific loving energy. That stays there, and it stays in the ground, and it stays in the walls. So that's like when a normal person can go into an area like visit a jail or a historic site, and they're just like, "Oh, this has got the creeps," gives me
Yeah.
the creeps. It's because that energy still sticks there.
Yeah.
And so if you have got the ability to pick up, if you're an empath and you can pick up on that, it can be quite unnerving for you. But it will
Mhm.
be relevant to you if there's something from that location that really gives you a personal, visceral, irrational, unexplainable reaction to it. And what
Mhm.
that does mean is there's something there in that fear, in that emotion that needs to come through as wisdom for you. And the only reason it would need to come through as wisdom for you is that you still retain those emotions today, either because you yourself haven't crossed over that other part of your soul, that other part of your avatar. So we need to help you get to the light so that you can be more fulfilled in your current life, or there is something that's about to happen or will happen or has happened that is the root cause of a coincidence, because coincidences don't exist, um, that is taking place in your life. So there is something that needs to be healed. And that's where we use past life regression to go back to that moment in time, see what happened, get the perspective from your perspective, and then your higher self's perspective on why you experienced that, uh, what it brought you as a benefit, what you held on to and you haven't healed yet. And then we do the healing so that then that it's like it dissolves away and it's no longer relevant. And if it's a really big trauma, we do it, slowly. It's like peeling an onion, you do it a piece at a time. But yes, that's the reason why you can feel deja vu in a location. And if it's about a person, then you feel like, I mean, we all feel very embarrassed when we walk up to somebody when we say, do I know you? I'm sure I know. I'm sure I've seen you before. And you're like, no, 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 yeah, I've never met you. I couldn't know who you are. You feel like a bit of an idiot. But yes, there's a past life connection there. And you're not supposed to remember it.
Mhm.
It can just be something that is just alerting you to the fact that, we meet people all the time that we've had connections with. But mostly we incarnate with and we have relationships, either working relationships, friendships, family relationships with people that we have unresolved issues with in other lifetimes. So you can literally go on a dating app or go to a coffee shop and run into somebody that you feel attracted to, that you were attracted to in a past life. So it is real.
Wow. Oh, great, great. And talking about you channel Archangel Zadkiel, and you work with Archangels Michael and Zadkiel. So, how do they assist you in guiding people to unlock their soul's wisdom?
Yeah, so they come into the sessions with me. So I have quite a lot of different types of sessions. I have sessions which are just with the angels, so they don't fit into a traditional certified uh, therapy. So they're not classified as past life regression therapy or hypnotherapy because these are the private sessions that they've trained me to do in the way that they would like to heal. And in those sessions, basically, we get the client very relaxed, and then the angels come and pick them up, and they take them to a moment in time that there's something that their soul needs to tell them about. So it may be they need to go to a lifetime where they have something to heal, but also there may be a lifetime that is in another dimension or another planet that has clues and keys to their soul's happiness. And the reason that these are called the happiest moments of my soul session, and the reason that we did that is because we can focus a lot on the trauma and the fears and the negative emotions in our lives, but we also need to focus on the happiness, the joy, and the peace in our lives. And sometimes we can just say to ourselves over and over again, there's something missing. I don't understand myself. I thought this would bring me happiness, but it hasn't. So, what really does bring me joy and happiness? I need some clues. And so those sessions were designed by the angels because they basically speak with the higher self and all of the avatars of your soul. So, who you've been in all of these other locations, frequencies, dimensions, and planets, and says, okay, guys, who's got something really important that will help him or her right now? And then they wait and they see the mind of the client is in charge. The superconscious mind, which is the eternal mind of all time, all locations, all space, wherever you have been as a soul. And when that client gets really comfortable and relaxed and they go with the angels, then the mind takes over, the superconscious mind takes over and takes them to a location that will show them something that will make them very happy. And the happiness is defined differently from each person on earth according to the experiences they have had. So it's really fascinating and interesting to see how the soul defines happiness in comparison to what we would assume is happiness.
Hmm. Hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. That's fascinating, Katishan. In Hinduism, we often talk about the value of karma. Um, so anything good or bad happening in the current life is basically a result of your karma done in your past life. Uh, I mean, I have heard a lot of stories from my mother, from my grandparents about this. So, they always, it was kind of a way to teach us to, do good karma with good intentions. So do you think the activities or the deeds done in the past lives somehow they affect our present lives?
So the way that I understand it and how I have been shown is yes, karma is a concept that is not based on a religion. It is a spiritual concept. Okay, so it affects and applies to you irrespective of whether you're Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, or whatever, or atheist or anything. But if you want to take it to the original causation of it, it is a way to demonstrate and explain morals and how to behave. So it's important in understanding that we should be good people, do good things. But basically, it's your eternal mind that keeps score. Okay. So if you behave in a certain way in a lifetime, and we're all learning in every lifetime, and you don't learn the art of forgiving yourself and forgiving others, then your mind keeps score. And your mind creates beliefs based upon your actions, your behaviors, your thoughts, and your feelings. And so it's only ever you that is keeping score. And the whole purpose of karma and reincarnation is to help the soul grow. Okay. And so, what we need to understand as human beings right now is that we need to come to terms and peace with ourselves. We need to give our minds a rest, and we need to forgive ourselves first and foremost. So, there's that saying by Maya Angelou, which is when you know better, do better. And so, what we have to do is to search the eternal mind and say, are there examples in my past where I have not forgiven myself or others, where I am holding onto a belief system that is no longer honoring the best intentions and the highest values of my soul? Can I let that go? Okay. Can I give myself forgiveness? Okay. Now, can I develop some compassion, not only to myself, but to others, and understand that good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people,
Yeah.
and that we're all trying to learn and grow? And also that sometimes we incarnate to experience negative circumstances in order to A, help somebody else who's in our soul family, or B, as a form of self punishment to pay ourselves back for doing something in a particular lifetime that was we considered terrible. Now, the soul doesn't require you to punish yourself and reincarnate in the opposite role. So, but it may be the best and fastest way for you to forgive yourself because you put yourself in the opposing situation than what you had experienced previously. So you quite often find couples reincarnate together because in one lifetime, that one person did something bad to the other person. And then so they say, okay, we didn't get that well. I've gone to the healing rooms and I'm still not understanding it. I should be understanding it. I've talked to all of my guides and goddesses and gods, and they can't get through. So they've suggested maybe if I want to and I'm brave enough, I'll go back and I'll reincarnate with the agreement of the other person and I'll be on the opposite side. And that's a tough thing, right? Because you've created karma there because you've said, I now want this balancing effect. Um, but if you had been able to embrace the concept of self forgiveness, then you wouldn't need to do that. But, we're humans and we have free will on this planet. So it's up to us to decide what we want to come back to. But the most important thing for people on earth to understand is to watch their thoughts, which really should just float by like clouds. But we can also notice how our thoughts and emotions and feelings create behaviors and actions. And it's in monitoring all of those and becoming mindful to allowing emotions to arise, but not necessarily acting out on those emotions, getting some maturity where emotions come so that we become living, breathing examples of compassion. But so at the same time, we don't repress emotions, because the thing that keeps bringing people back to reincarnate time after time after time in the same location to fight the same wars, to have the same beliefs that are negative, is that we repress our emotions. And when we repress our emotions and stuff them down, they have their inner wisdom stuffed down. We don't let them come to the light. And so our job is to say, I'm feeling an emotion. Let me explore it. Let me bring it up. Let me learn how to be responsible about that emotion. Let me get help with that emotion. And let me say, now I wish to face the fear of that emotion, walk through it to the other side, get the wisdom, and then I can feel much better.
Mhm. Mhm. That is, again, amazing, fascinating. And you also have, you mentioned the concept of a soul blueprint. What exactly is it, and how can someone begin to understand theirs?
Hmm. So the best way to do that is to do what's called like a between lives session. And in the between lives, we go to the very special place where you can consult with all of the other people in your soul family and your very special council of wisdom. And it's different for everybody, but it shows you and you can have discussions with them through your superconscious mind about what it is that your soul is here to discover. What are the special talents that you've had in different lifetimes that you could bring forward? to help humanity and to serve your soul. And so there are different kinds of souls who are interested in different kinds of things. And um, at different points in time, we need different skills and different ideas. But we all come from the same source energy at the end of the day. So we're all the same, but we just have certain things that are really prominent and are useful in expanding and growing our soul at a particular point in time. And so the best way to understand that is to actually have a discussion with the Council of Wisdom, the wise ones that have been working with you, and all the avatars that have ever been, because it can be really complicated or it can be really simple depending upon what you've decided before you came this time.
Oh, oh. And no, some believe that forgetting past lives is necessary for us to focus on the present, this incarnation.
Mm.
So, how do you respond to the idea that remembering could be a distraction?
So it is important. That's why we do forget them.
Mhm.
And the only time we don't forget them is when we have something to heal.
Mm.
So the reason that you're getting deja vu or you're coming to a roadblock in terms of not being able to achieve something in life or do something in life is because you have a something that's urgent that needs to come forward. Otherwise, you wouldn't remember it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be curious about this topic. That's the most important thing. But sometimes, and in some instances, you might be on a healer's journey, meaning that in this lifetime, you're here to help, teach, or heal, either physically, emotionally, or mentally. And you need to remember so that you can bring forward memories of healing in other lifetimes that will assist you. Kind of like it's like your soul's experiences are like going to a university and doing a course. And, each module in the course has a different name and a different book to study. So sometimes we remember our past lives because there's a particular book from our soul that has important information, and it's time for us to remind ourselves about that important information because we can use the soul's learning to help us in this lifetime. And if we didn't remember that past life, then we wouldn't be able to access that wisdom. So we just have to bring it forward from the superconscious mind to be able to say, hey, I've got this skill. It's time now. It's the right time on earth. I need to bring that forward and maybe I need to teach it to other people. And that's why I'm remembering.
Mm. That is that is amazing, amazing, Katish. Lovely, lovely. So, I think this conversation has been so profound. Exploration into the soul's multidimensional journey. Till now, we have seen in astronomical science or maybe quantum physics, everything about multi-dimensions or time being a separate dimensions or time dilation and all that. But I think a soul's journey and the different dimension it travels, of course, it's really fascinating in its own way. So your thank you so much for your insights into the reincarnation beyond Earth, soul blueprints, and also the role of archangels.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Great. So, Kadish, if our listeners would wish to connect with you and explore more about this and your work as well, how they can do that?
They can go to my website, which is simply my first name, katish.com.
Great. We'll have all the details mentioned in the show notes. And to all of our listeners, if this conversation has connected with you, resonated with you in some way, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's exploring their soul's journey. And also, don't forget to connect with Katish. You can refer to the show notes along with this episode. Until next time, let's stay open, let's stay curious, and continue our cosmic confluence. Thank you.